In 1954, Ho Chi Minh won his war against the French, only to see the superpowers divide his country in two. During the Cold War, Ho's political philosophy would make him powerful enemies. Ho Chi Minh died in 1969 while his country was being pounded by America's enormous might. Before the war ended, 58,000 Americans and hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese would die. But in 1975, Vietnam would have the independence Ho had sought for so long. While the Cold War devastated Vietnam, Sukarno tried to play the superpowers against each other. He became a flamboyant spokesman for the newly independent, non-aligned countries who refused to ally themselves with the West or the Soviet bloc. Like the puppet master in Java's shadow plays, Sukarno tried to captivate Indonesians by the sheer force of his personality. But the mythic fire that had led a revolution could not run a nation day by day. By the 1960s, the economy was a shambles. People were starving. Sukarno flirted with communism as Indonesia began slipping from Sukarno's grasp.
In the end, our big Dalang Sukarno lost his control on his shadow puppets. And the shadow puppets become their own masters and played their own game.
In the fall of 1965, conspirators in Jakarta, most likely communists, murdered 6 of Indonesia's top military leaders. In the chaos that followed the attempted coup, the Indonesian army seized control of the country. In the name of order, the army pushed Sukarno aside and gave power to a pragmatic young general named Suharto. Sukarno died in 1970. In the villages, some say that on the night he died, they saw his face in the moon, and there was thunder and lightning for 3 days. Today, long lines of Vietnamese wait patiently to view the body of Ho Chi Minh. But others question whether Ho would have approved of the state cult Vietnam's communist government has created around him. After decades of war, Vietnam has a powerful army and one of the poorest economies in Asia. Its Soviet ally is gone. America is ending its economic embargo, and reformers are calling for change. Today, the legacy of Ho Chi Minh is a powerful riddle. Will the nationalism he inspired lead the nation forward to economic progress, or backward to a vision of the world that has since disappeared?
Major funding for this program was provided by the Annenberg CPB Project and the Ford Foundation. Additional funding by the National Endowment for the Humanities and the Arthur Vining Davis Foundations.